As someone who has been a fan of Spider-Man since his humble beginnings in Amazing Fantasy number 15, I'll admit that the new movie Kraven the Hunter has left me with mixed feelings. But after all, it always excites me to see the web slingers universe expand even further on the big screen. And if we're talking about characters from Peter Parker's Rogues Gallery, it doesn't get any more thrilling than introducing Rhino, Chameleon, and the maniacal Kraven himself. Uh, I mean, how much better can it get? But there's something that fans might have missed that you, dear reader, need to know. So make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel before we get into it. You won't want to miss any of these incredible insights. Now, let's dive right in. Did you know that hidden within the film are subtle teases of a crucial character from the Spider-Man universe? A doctor with a deep connection to Spidey makes a surprising cameo in the upcoming Sony Pictures feature. In fact, the character is never even shown on screen, but is mentioned twice throughout the course of the movie. And, you know, this isn't Tellus. The first instance comes from Alessandro Nivola's character, the infamous Rhino. He drops the name Miles Warren, hinting that it was Warren who conducted the experiments to give the villain unbreakable skin. Later, as the film reaches its climax, Fred Hetchinger's Chameleon brings up the mysterious doctor once again. He reveals to Kraven that he had come across a physician in New York who helped transform him. And thus the character of the Chameleon, as we know from the comic books, was finally brought to life on the big screen. Now, aside from building anticipation for that elusive Miles Warren character, there's another detail worth knowing. Who exactly is Miles Warren, and why should we care? Miles Warren first made his debut in Amazing Spider-Man number 31 back in September 1965. But Warren wasn't merely a professor of biochemistry at Empire State University. Oh no, he had much grander plans in mind. As part of the High Evolutionaries Council, Warren became embroiled in some very dark experiments centered around new cloning technology. His fall from grace and subsequent dismissal from the High Evolutionaries inner circle were primarily due to his controversial cloning projects. And so, in a bittersweet turn of events, he entered the Spider-Man world through his obsession with one of his students, none other than the beautiful and tragic Gwen Stacy. Grieving over Gwen's untimely death at the hands of the infamous web-slinger, Warren took matters into his own hands, hoping to bring her back to life. But little did he know that his attempt would result in Addie L, a hideous, disfigured clone of Gwen Stacy, who possessed the terrifying ability to degenerate anything she touched. But there's a twist. Miles Warren's perseverance in cloning technology would eventually transform him into a dark and sinister figure known as the Jackal. As fans know, the Jackal has a rather impressive criminal record. He's responsible for managing to cross paths with Spider-Man in numerous comic book adventures, from pitting the Scorpion, Tarantula, and even the resolute Punisher against our friendly neighborhood superhero. The Jackal has certainly kept his hands full. Still, his crowning achievement would be the infamous and convoluted narrative known as the Clone Saga, which would eventually give birth to the iconic Ben Reilly, alias the Scarlet Spider, who sported one of the most stylish Spider-Man outfits ever seen. Um, Save and discriminated. And just as fans couldn't get enough of the Jackal's cunning and genius, they also reveled in the unforgettable Spider Island storyline, where he unleashed a swarm of genetically engineered insects infected with the mind-boggling spider virus, a little taste of Spidey magic for those daring enough to get bitten intelligence. But hold on a minute. Isn't it a bit surprising to learn that the Jackal has absolutely nothing to do with the creation of Rhino and Chameleon as Kraven the Hunter would have us believe? Now, that's something worth pondering over, isn't it? But aside from wondering why there's such a glaring oversight in the movie, there's something else on everyone's minds. When will we finally see this long-awaited Miles Warren, the Jackal, make his move on the big screen and bring his remarkable story to life? Unfortunately, the outlook for Kraven the Hunter doesn't look too promising, with projections suggesting that it will only earn around $85 million, marking a drop in the ocean performance when compared to its $110 million production budget. It's quite apparent that Kraven might be the final nail in the coffin for this series. Moreover, a report from The Wrap states that Sony Pictures has decided to press pause on its Spider-Man related movie universe, making this movie potentially the last of its kind for now. And it's funny though, imagine if there had been a tiny twist of fate and, you know, if they'd let the Jackal create a clone of Spider-Man, an idea that had been swimming around in the writers' minds, it could have set the wheels in motion for an entirely interconnected universe of their very own. And wouldn't that have been something? But fear not, my fellow aficionados. For those who just can't get enough of their friendly neighborhood webhead, there's always the long distant possibility of a Spider-Man 4, which may or may not grace our screens no earlier than 2026, and sometimes have a gains of those procedures. And so there you have it, folks. It's not too grievous. Kraven the Hunter is now playing in theaters, but only time will tell if there will be any further steps taken to connect our beloved web-slinger to the world of Kraven and beyond. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.